Hello, it's Mr. Burns once again. Welcome to another edition of Flip Video in Civics and Economics. We're going to talk about judicial branch vocabulary. The last set in Unit 4, the longest set. We're going to spend about 3 weeks on judicial branch. Who knows? Maybe less, maybe more. I don't know what the weather's going to do. I have no idea. I can't predict it. All I know is that we're here, and it's time to write down the due date at the top. So, tentative due dates, of course, this time of year, I always got to say that word tentative. Friday, February 17th for periods 1, 3, and 5. Tuesday, February 21st, the day after President's Day, it's going to be periods 4 and 8. Of course, you know what to do. Create your own definitions, colored visual for each word. There's also going to be a quiz on the above date. And then after that, there will be a test on Unit 4 coming up at the end of February. Hope you are starting to get prepared for it. All right, here we go. First word is acquittal. And an acquittal is where you are found not guilty. You are acquitted of the charges. At the end of, there's a verdict. At the end, there can be either acquittal or there can be a guilty find and sentencing next step. So, acquittal. Again, anytime during this presentation, if you need to pause, please do so. All right, so to appeal is to ask a higher court to review the decision of a lower court. So if you lose your case as a defendant, you can appeal it to a higher court that hears appellate decisions. And if you win the case, the state could do the same thing. So just because you win the case doesn't mean you're out of the woods yet. By the way, look at this judicial branch. It looks like I'm in a jail cell right now, but I swear I'm in my classroom. Nothing going on behind me, though, except the white wall. All right, arraignment is the third word. And this is part of the criminal arrest sequence where if you are arrested and you are charged with a felony, where you can enter a plea. We're going to talk about plea later, but basically you can say if you're guilty or not guilty. If you say you're guilty, you don't get a trial. You go right to sentencing. And if you say you're not guilty, you get a trial. They'll set the trial date, and all that will happen. Your lawyer will be there as well. All right, fourth word going down. We have bail, and bail is if you get arrested and you get put into a holding cell, you can be offered bail. And bail is basically money that you pay to the court, to the state, as a promise to say when my trial occurs and when my arraignment occurs, I will come back. And if you skip out on bail, they can take the bail away. They can choose to set no bail if your crime is very serious, or if you are a flight risk. Okay, but it's basically a promise. It's kind of like I'm going to come back to court. I'm going to go through the process. All right, next page, next word is compensation. Anytime you sue someone or get sued, payment for lost damages. This is compensation. So basically, if you get sued, and you lose, you might have to pay someone the damages. If you sue someone else, they would pay you if you win the case. All right. Conviction. This is another word for being found guilty of a crime. Conviction. Okay. So this could be, you can either get acquitted at the end of a trial or you can get convicted. All right. A defendant. Two different types of cases that we're going to talk about in this unit. We have criminal cases, so a person accused of a crime. Civil case, the defendant is the person being sued. Two different cases, criminal, civil. Crime might have been committed in a civil case, but not necessarily, that person wouldn't necessarily go to jail for what they committed. In that kind of case, they would have to pay the plaintiff. All right. Due process. Remember the 5th and 14th Amendments. We talked about this earlier in the year. This should be reviewed. 5th Amendment extends due process to the national government, and 14th extends it even further to the states and local governments. And it's protection against unfair treatment by the government. So you have certain duties, certain rights, right, under the government, and these are protected. All right. A felony. Most of you have heard this word before. A felony is any variety of more serious offenses. Usually they involve more than a year in prison. Usually they involve a criminal trial in front of a jury of your peers. This is a felony. This could be a state level, starting at the circuit court, or it could be a federal level occurring and starting at the district court. All right, interpret. This is what the judicial branch does. They interpret, they review, they question the laws of our government. So to interpret means to define or determine the meaning of. So is this law? The judicial branch, especially the Supreme Court, they're going to look at things and make sure that laws are able to be followed through upon because they're agreed upon in the Constitution. So this is going to be interpret. All right. Here we go. Again, pause it whenever you need to. All right, jurisdiction is the authority to hear, authority of a court to hear a case. This is also used in police work, as Fairfax County police officers have jurisdiction in Fairfax County, Prince William and Prince William County, and so on. Fairfax City police has jurisdiction there. So if a crime is committed there, they would take the lead. They might help the adjoining counties, but they have authority in their counties, just like in certain court cases, certain courts have certain authority to hear certain cases. We're going to talk about original and appellate, and limited original as well. All right, misdemeanor is a minor crime, misbehavior, usually less serious than a felony. Sometimes don't even have jail time. Sometimes they do. It's less than a year. Maybe you would get a fine or do community service as part of your punishment. This involves, this could be like traffic violations. This could also be like petty theft, minor crimes, minor assault, trespassing, things of that nature. It's not like a felony where it's like murder, manslaughter, and then you got your terrorism and your counterfeiting and things like that. Those are all felonies. Misdemeanors are minor crimes. All right, a plaintiff. Plaintiff is in a civil case. It's the person who is filing a lawsuit. They are the one taking action against another party, another person, another business, a company, governing body. So it's the person suing someone else. The person taking the action is the plaintiff. The defendant, we talked about earlier, is the person who's getting sued. Okay. Plea. A plea is, there's a couple things you could say with plea, but a plea is an answer to what answer are you going to say to if you are charged with a crime? Most criminals and lawyers suggest that they say not guilty to take a chance at the trial, because in a trial you need, especially a jury trial, you need to get a unanimous jury. 12 people to say you're guilty. If not, then you are acquitted. So, however, if the evidence is overwhelming, or if you have information on other people, they might say not guilty so they can get a reduced sentence or no sentence. Okay, so that's a plea. It's just, what do you plead? That's what the judge would ask you. I plead guilty. I plead not guilty. Okay. Plea bargain is another word you might have heard in courts and on the news. Plea bargain is where you make an agreement to say that you're guilty in exchange for other information to get other people, maybe the boss, the leader of the operation, in prison. All right, a couple more. We got probable cause. Here you can see a dog sniffing out a box that might have a bomb inside or drugs inside. It's having the right amount of information, the right reasons to arrest someone. So in order to have probable cause, you need certain evidence in order to search someone's house, for instance, or get a warrant, or to arrest them for a crime. All right, last word is verdict. The verdict is the decision by the judge or by the jury, depending on what court you're at the end of a trial, guilty or not guilty. If they're guilty, they would be sentenced, and they have the right to appeal. If they're not guilty, they would be acquitted, and the state could appeal the decision. But basically, a verdict is that decision at the end of a trial. All right, so your next step is to make sure you get this finished up by the due dates in about 3 weeks, and you'll have a quiz that date. Remember, you're coloring your own individual unique pictures, and you're creating your own definition by creating a synonym or an example that'll help you remember what that word means. If you have questions, let me know. And again, the due dates are at the beginning of this presentation.